this is TinyTableGames. Today I'm playing Abaddon Mission 4, the Gauntlet. I know this mission is supposed to be spiffier and more open-ended than most, because you set your links up in whatever zone you want along the baseline on both sides, but looks like it's going to be a protracted kind of pain, honestly, to play through. But you'll see what I'm talking about in just a second.
So here we are, Mission 4, the Gauntlet. The satellite city-states have made a biological discovery and are attempting to break through your lines, assuming you're the Commonwealth, I guess, and deliver the biological canister. Informants tell us that there are a number of canisters and that their infantry is transporting them. Well, editing is your friend. Anyway, so, objective. Satellite city-states move one infantry squad off the board from any space on the Commonwealth Alliance's deployment zone, and the Commonwealth Alliance destroy all infantry. There are 4 infantry units at the satellite city-states and 2 recon units versus 2 heavies and 2 mediums. There's 10 squares across on this board. Infantry moves 1 square per, so this might take a while. Players can set up anywhere along their baseline. In this case, the satellite city-states set up first and they have to deploy first. So I've chosen to kind of spread the wealth rather than try to do a refused flank, since the defensive team can respond in kind. And in this game, it seems the hardest thing to do is draw weapon systems cards for doing ranged combat. So with any luck, it'll go pretty well. The satellite city-states hand looks like this: 1 anti-missile, a smart bomb, and 4 target cards. The Commonwealth Alliance, and I shuffled these and drew them randomly: a long-range bombardment, a doomsday bolt, a smart bomb, and 3 target cards. So that couldn't be much better for them from the perspective of what to draw. First turn goes to satellite city-states per the directive in the rules, so we'll get right into it. I feel like this is going to take a while because half the results on the dice aren't going to matter for the command rolls. So, heavy link, medium link, recon, and command. Alright, well, no use for those 2. No use for the medium either, but our recon link, and with 1 command, we'll move 1 infantry forward. The recon can move 2, 1, 2. The infantry will move 1. So that is the extremely unexciting first turn of the satellite city-state. Okay, bottom of round 1, the Commonwealth Alliance. Hopefully their turn will be a bit more interesting. Heavy weapon system, west system, recon. Okay, there is no recon, so that's removed. 2 weapon systems, so draw 2 cards. We get a smart bomb and a long-range bombardment, which is great for them. And 2 heavy links. Got 2 heavies, so he'll get 1. He'll get 1. And they're both going to activate using their 2 long-range bombardment cards. Not more than 8 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So he'll have to take 1 move up. Now it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So they'll both target an infantry unit. Probably the same infantry unit would be the efficient thing to do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, except they can't reach. So 1 and 1. D10s plus 1 for the long-range bombardment because it's coming from heavies. The satellite city-states aren't going to respond with any cards because they're saving that anti-missile for when it's more important, and everything else is out of range. So we'll do the left-hand side first. D10 for the long-range bombardment, D6 for the shielding. So that's 7, 8 versus 6. So that takes 1 crystal off of this guy. And over here on this side, 3, 4 versus 4 is a tie, so it bounces off. With that done, that is the end of the first turn. And once again, I forgot to use all the targeting links, but for area control, but that's my bad. Start of round 2 coming. Okay, round 2, back to the city-states. This time they're going to use their targeting link. And I guess they'll use it on this guy. It almost seems kind of a waste at this point, but hopefully somebody gets to move this time. Okay, that's not too bad. Only have to discard 2 of the 5 dice is worthless this time. So, got 3 command, which we will spend on infantry. In particular, we're going to spend them all 3 on this infantry. He only gets 1 attack, but you can move as much as you want. And so he's going to. So, first die moves 1, second die moves 1, third die moves 1. Ooh, look at him go. Alright. Got the anti-missile missile and the smart bomb. But that's only up to 5 spaces, and he's still 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 away from being able to hit anybody. So with that, that is the Satellite City-States turn 2. We move on to the Commonwealth Alliance. Okay, Commonwealth Alliance, turn 2. They are going to not forget their targeting marker this time, and they're going to target this pesky guy who's out in the lead. So, 3 commands, a heavy link, and a medium link. Alright. So they are going to use 1 command to fire the Doomsday Bolt. They will use the heavy over here, the medium over here, and with the 2 commands, don't really need them there because you can only fire once anyway. That'll be enough for that guy to get in range. So we'll just activate both of these guys so they can be in position. Alright, starting off with the Doomsday Bolt. The Satellite City-State will use their 1 anti-missile missile card to cancel that to avoid losing a unit altogether right off the bat. Which takes us on to the movements. Heavy Link moves 1. He's going to move up to here. And the Medium Link is going to move 1, 2. This guy's just going to advance straight. 1, 2. And this Heavy here is going to step over to this side to defend against this guy coming down the channel too quick. Alright, that done. Declaring fires. We got, let's see, within range, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The Heavy will be using a target 4 against the infantry. Over on this side, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Still all out of range. No more long-range artillery, just the single shot. Now it's up to the defense. Do the Satellite City-States care to respond? And they don't have any extra bonus damage, but they will certainly respond. And they'll use this target 6 just in case. Okay, so that's a D10 versus a D6. Plus 1 for the D10 because he's in a targeted space. So that's 4. Plus 1 for the space. 5 plus 4 is 9. Versus 2 plus 6 is 8. So that's enough for a 1-point victory, except that he played getting an extra damage, so that takes 2 damage off of this infantry. There's still no close combat, so that ends turn 2 for the Commonwealth Alliance. Coming up, turn 3. Okay, at the start of turn 3, everybody's still alive, although the guy on the flank over here has taken a bit more damage and has some opposition coming up, but we shall see how the roll goes. Okay, so we got a command, an infantry, a heavy, a medium. Well, so the medium's no use, the heavy's no use. Weapon system card, that's handy. We'll draw that immediately. That's a plus 6. And once again, we've got a command and an infantry. I think we're going to use them both on this guy again. And he's going to speed ahead. 1, 2. And for targeting, he's going to blast away at this guy with a plus 6. The idea of forcing him to respond if they choose to, which they definitely will. because they want to make sure this guy doesn't cross the line and win, so the heavy will reply with a +2. So D10 versus a D6. So that's a 9, 10, 11. Tough break there. But 6 plus 6 is 12. So the infantry guy just wins and whittles 1 crystal, if I can get it off of here, off of the heavy. Okay, that concluded. It's now the Commonwealth Alliance's turn. And Recon Link, they don't have one of those. Recon Link, they don't have one of those. Weapon System card, they shall draw another Doomsday Bolt. Man. Then they will immediately use that Doomsday Bolt with their command token, activate this medium link over here, and that'll be their turn. So, first Doomsday Bolt. In response, there are no anti-missile cards. So, play this card after activation roll. Use a command die to launch a Doomsday Bolt. Roll the command activation die. If unit type is rolled, the target unit is destroyed. So if this comes up infantry, this guy is dead. It does not, he is not dead. For being called a Doomsday Bolt, that's not really as exciting as you would hope. Alright, so the medium link, 1, 2, will come up here and play blocker. We'll use his target 1 card. The Command Alliance is starting to run out of cards a little bit. The Defender is going to respond with playing a ranged card as well. It's the only combat, so I'll just flip him over right now. So it's a D8 versus a D6. So that's a 1 and 1 and a 3 and 4, which normally would be a victory for the infantry. However, he rolled a 1, so instead we draw a wildfire card, and the result, short circuit. Lose command program. The opponent draws 2 weapon systems cards from your hand and discards them. Okay, so in effect, rather than doing any damage, the satellite city-state loses 2 cards at random. Only had 3 cards left, so swirl them around. These 2 are gone. That leaves them with 1 target 4 card. So, top of turn 4. After several remarkably ineffective rounds, but not terribly surprised, back to the satellite city-states. To infantry, command, recon, recon, recon. So at least all of those dice are actually usable this time. We'll give those 3 to that guy. And these 2 to the infantry. The recon link moves 3 at a time. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to engage this guy in close combat so he can't shoot at anybody anymore. And while there's no restriction on walking away from close combat, you can't shoot at anybody. You have to target the nearest guy while you're in it. So at least that prevents that. Similarly, we're going to have the same strategy with this guy because we don't have a choice. He'll be moving 2, 1, 2, which puts him close to the finish line, 3 steps away. But he's going to have to engage in close combat with the medium, which is where you want infantry to be anyway. Alright, so there is no shooting because the 2 people who activated are both in close combat. So, no cards, straight to that. So the heavy gets a D10, the recon gets a D6. So 1 to 3, so critical hit. So wildfire card drawn against the heavy. Sporadic pulse. No control. Remove 1 power crystal from the unit. This unit may only move or battle when it is ordered, not both. Huh. Alright. So we'll remove 1 crystal. And we'll put the sporadic pulse flag on him. Although it seems like a pain, so maybe I'll just leave the card here since that's where he is. Alright. Well, that was effective. And now over to this combat. We've got the 2d6 for the infantry and 1d8 for the medium. The infantry will, of course, take the 5, but that's not going to matter. They lose 1 crystal. And that is the end of the satellite states, turn 4. Okay, bottom of turn 4, the Commonwealth Alliance, who is actually remembering to drop their targeting token on that guy. See how this roll goes. Heavy link, infantry, they don't have any of those. Recon link, don't have any of those. So just 2 heavies. Move or battle when it is ordered, cannot do both. So both orders are going to go to this one guy. So he can use 1 die to move, 1 space, and 1 die to battle that guy. So it's going to be a D10 versus a D6 because there's no other activities happening. And he got a 10, but that'll be negated because the infantry rolled a 1 and he'll pick to do that, which will be yet another wildfire card. Sluggish Circuit. Unit takes 2 activation dice to order. Unit may defend as normal. Wow. Okay. So it costs 2 dice to get him to do anything from now, and then he can only either move or attack because they're both there. Things are stacking up. That ends the Commonwealth Alliance, turn 4. Top of turn 5 for the satellite city-states, who will drop their target marker on this pesky medium right there. Let's see in the roll. Heavy, those are useless. Medium, yeah, got one of those, that's nice. Well, actually don't, it's a recon. And the command, which we will immediately give to this guy. Okay, so the recon link is going to take 1 step forward to engage that medium and pin it in place. And this guy is going to take 1 step forward, still in range of this guy, but probably not going to be pestered by this guy anymore, given how much damage he's taken. All right, this guy is not going to choose to engage in hand-to-hand combat because why risk taking the damage? But we will do the recon link, which will be a D6 versus a D8, plus 1 against this guy because of the targeting space. So that's 6 to 6, which is a tie, so it just bounces off everybody. And that ends the satellite city-state, turn 5. Okay, Commonwealth Alliance, bottom of round 5. Command, heavy weapon system. So finally a weapon system card. Target 2. Takes 2 heavies to get it to do anything, so we will order him to do hand-to-hand with this guy before he can escape. There is no infantry, so that's wasted, and the command die. The command die we will use on this medium, who is also going to do something. So if we move, the heavy can't attack. Attacking is far more important at this point. So both of them are just going to attack him. And they both get a +1 because he's doing that. So we'll start with the D10 versus the 2D6 for the heavy. So that's a 10 versus a 5 and a 1. He'll take the 1, which is an automatic wildfire card. Again, full throttle. Remove 1 power crystal from the unit. Move additional. Unit may move each additional space when ordered. Okay. Well, things are stacking up for this guy, but he's only down to 1 power crystal now, based on all the stuff he's lost. So we'll see how much that all plays into anything. And now we've got this close combat, which is a D8 versus 2D6, as they continue to desperately stop this guy's end zone run. So that's a 5 plus 1 for the location is a 6 versus the 6. So that's a tie and nothing happens. With that, that is the end of round 5. Of round 6, all the action's happening down right here. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 other units on the board that have basically done nothing this entire game because, let's face it, it doesn't matter. So, the satellite city-states roll. One command, that's great. 2 recon links, that's helpful. The heavy and the medium are trash. Okay, so the recon link over here will be able to do something, and of course, the command's just going to go to the infantry, who arduously takes one more step. If he takes one more turn, or one more step, he wins the game. So, in the meantime, the recon link, 1, 2, has to try and screen off this guy. 1, 2, 3. So he's at least going to come over here, since this guy's a mess to trigger, and hope for the best. And rather than target him, he's going to target this guy? The only difference is that guy's only got 1 hit left. Well, still D6 versus D8 is better than D8 versus 10, so. And then I grab the D10. So, D6 versus D8, close combat over here, is a 4 versus a 1, which is once again a critical hit. So, wildfire drawn, and system reboot, auto download, 1 power crystal removed, draw 2 weapon system cards. Okay. So, it basically just takes 1 point of damage. And Satellite City States pick up 2 weapon system cards. In this case, an anti-missile and a target 6. I'm not sure how useful that's going to be, but, you know, cool. Alright, that ends their turn, and we move straight on to the Commonwealth's turn. Discard this wildfire card. Grab all the command dice. Heavy, heavy, command, command, medium. Wow, that is about as perfect as it gets for them. So it needs 2 heavy commands to cause a close combat over here. The medium can move 2, 1, 2, and also engage in close combat. These 2 commands, I guess these guys will move 1, 2, and 1. Because got to do something with them. And you can only attack once anyway. So, over here, the heavy will attack the infantry once again. D10 versus 2D6. And a 1 versus a 6 and a 3, which would normally be a victory, except a 1 automatically triggers a wildfire. So, reflex shutdown versus the infantry. No movement. Oh, well. May not move when ordered. Well, that's about as bad as it gets for him. So, the medium will finish him off, probably. D8 versus 2D6. 4 versus a 5, it doesn't happen. The medium actually takes the damage. And that will be the end of the Commonwealth's turn 6. Okay, top of turn 7, all the action is still down here. The infantry, 1 step from the goal, suffered a reflex shutdown. However, you can clear wildfire cards, status chef effects, if you roll a command die. So, satellite systems, top of turn 7, do not get a command die. They did get a move in infantry, which is wonderful, except he can't move. So we'll have to give it to this guy. Recon gets to do something, and the rest of these rolls are worthless. Okay. So recon link over here. I think he is going to step away. 1, 2. Yeah, I like that. And over here with this infantry guy, he'll just progress 1 forward, because what else is he going to do? Now, let's see. The recon will use a 6 to target this heavy, just to try and get him out of the way, since he's down to 1 crystal. In response, the heavy will use a target 2, which may score additional damage. Alright. There is no close combat this round. I suppose he could have done it, but it seemed like a waste. I don't want to risk him losing. I would really like to draw a command roll so he can clear up and run through the end zone, so to speak. So all we've got is this recon versus this heavy. So D10 versus a D6. 7, 8, 9 versus 8. So tiresomely, the heavy wins. It does 1 additional damage, so that's -2 crystals to the recon unit, leaving him with 1 crystal as well. Bottom of turn 7, the command roll. Weapon system card, infantry, which they don't have. Command, and the medium can do things twice. So again, a much more favorable roll for the Commonwealth Alliance. Draw on their weapon systems card at target 1, which isn't great, but it's not terrible either. Okay. So that takes care of the weapon system card. The medium is going to get tasked to do that fight. This medium is going to progress over here. He can't be commanded with a single die, but I can use this command to get rid of one of those things, which we will. We'll burn it to get rid of his sluggish circuit, so he can only needs one command die to actually do something. So that's improvement. Okay. So the medium's going to be doing close combat against the infantry unit. This medium will move up 1, 2, and use a smart bomb to target the infantry over there. There's really nothing they can do about that unless they choose to respond with the anti-missile. Is he going to bother doing that? He is not. So a D8 versus a D6 with a +2. 3, 4, 5 versus 6. Because he's just defending, it just bounces off. He doesn't do any damage back, but the smart bomb does nothing useful. Over here, 1 crystal infantry versus this medium, a D8 versus 2D6. A 2 and a 4 versus a 2. The infantry may not be able to move, but he's a tough guy to kill. Everybody in this corner is now down to a single hit point. Yikes. That is the bottom of turn 7. On to turn 8. Things are heating up slightly on this side, but all the action is still down here. If the satellite city-states can manage to roll a command and an infantry, or 2 commands, it's over. There it is. Use the first command die to clear the reflex shutdown, allowing him to move again, and the next command die steps him off the board. Victory for the satellite city-states. Just like that.
So there you have it. A victory for the satellite mission states as the first infantry guy to try ran across the finish line. Honestly, that's kind of what I expected to have happen based on how this game works. The die rolls for command structure threw so many unit uses away because they were so limited on each side. On any given turn, you were only getting half of your commands, except for a couple lucky rolls, which shifted a few things. But in the end, it's so hard to cause damage, and it's so hard to make any progress as far as chipping away at things. The criticals aren't really criticals, like I said, with the wildfire cards. Plus, it stops other damage, which is yet another way BattleTech is superior to this game. Am I going to continue? Only if you, the viewers, ask. Other than that, I think it's going to go back on my shelf and sit there for a while. To be traded either at the next Dice Tower East event or some math trade on Board Game Geek if I get around to doing that. But for now, I think we're going to move on, and the next video is going to be in a different game entirely. So please stay tuned. Thanks for watching. I'm Ray. This has been Tiny Table Games. Have a good night.